Right, so it looks like we are live. Testing the audio. If anybody is watching this, please do comment if you can hear me all right. We are still struggling with some technical challenges to get this stream up and running. Right, so it looks like we are. And yeah, it looks like I think my playback is working now. So while I think we were intending to start the stream an hour back, unfortunately this started pretty late. But let's try to do it quickly and see if we can get enough interest in it and the questions, if you have any, to share with us. So yes, so first of all, sorry for all the trouble today. We were planning to do a live stream almost an hour back. I think we hit some technical issues. We could not do it. But anyway, let's get going and see how this goes and if we are able to get enough people on this stream. So a lot has been going on in US world. As you can see that there's a lot of news flow. So I thought we should definitely discuss. First of all, of course, the market is coming back to life. We did see earlier US moving up from around three, I think very close to $3 mark to going above $4, and it's corrected recently. Specifically, Bitcoin has been very stable around 10,000. So what we have seen from last time we talked is we had very close to 70% dominance, and now coming down. Ethereum is really doing very well. But I think let's come back to our discussion on the specifically. Uh, um, Okay, I'm seeing a comment that audio is echoing. I think now that we have resolved the video issues, we have some audio issues. Let me see if we can try to fix that. So if I will keep talking and let me know if you are able to still hear me, all right. And please correct me if it works better. Um, Otherwise, I think we will just end this stream early if you guys are still hearing the echo. Uh, so Danny, I think you just commented, so please let me know if there is any improvement. Otherwise, we will have to stop the stream. So coming back to, I think, what we were talking about beyond the news around the market. So let's first go get into what's really going on. So Ethereum 2.0 has been announced, but and a lot of excitement is coming along, but there is also some FUD around what originally Ethereum 1 was supposed to be, and now that we have a lot of promises with Ethereum 2. And you remember, it's very interesting now that they are saying that Ethereum was never expected to scale, while originally we were sold the promise that it is going to scale. But anyway, I think the whole idea is that 2.0 is coming early next year, so everybody is excited. But as we already know, within the your community, we are already charging ahead. There had been a lot of discussion around voting debate, so we did run a survey on Twitter, and we had 475 votes. Um, I think I'm still getting a comment that the audio is bad, so most probably we will let me get back and try. And there is another option I'm going to try. Give me a minute. I'm trying another option in the meanwhile. Let's see if that works. I'm changing my microphone. Thanks for your patience. I think it's always a challenge moving to one new technology. So we recently started doing some new installations here on our equipment. So let me see if you can hear me all right now. Do let me know if it improves at any point. We are looking for fixing this issue. While if you can see anything better, do let me know. As I said, we are still, I think we got a feedback again on the comments that the audio is bad. All right. So you can hear me better. This is great news. Um, if it gets any better, do send us your comments continuously. All right. Thank you. So sorry for this. So let's get started again. So what we our some of the news items we wanted to cover today is what's going on in this current news scenarios. So I think we have been talking about it a lot on the Twitter. So let me get back there. Markets definitely are moving. Ethereum has been really leading this rally this time around, and I think what is one of the very big news is the Ethereum 2.0 has gained a lot of attention. The I think as we all know that really we had this expectation from Ethereum for a very long time, and I hope that 2.0 delivers for the sake of rest of the crypto market, because there has been very interesting Twitter thread which this the Grubers had started showing that how they have been lying all the time about the scaling of Ethereum. Uh, Ever since 2014, they were talking about scalability, and we are right now more than 5 years, almost 6 years into this promise. While I think when we talk about EOS, we already know that we have scaled to the next level. We already have a pretty uh, heavy, like we can see very good applications, like where we are seeing around thousands and thousands of users. We are seeing a lot of transactions happening. So all those things are happening. So, all right, so let's get going about beyond Ethereum, what's going on in EOS world. So I think the biggest issue and the discussion has been around that voting and the voter rebates and so on. And what I'm seeing here is that we did a poll in Twitter with 475 people voted, so it's a pretty good sample. And as we have been discussing, that we still believe that we should vote for the best performing block producers with everything invested back and no voter rebates, we still see 49% of people accepting this fact. Now, what is interesting though is I still don't understand why then people are, when I know a lot of people, I know a lot of big investors, they are still going and proxying to new, like a new deck, to big one, all these people who are giving rebates. So there is definitely a discrepancy between people who own the tokens versus people who are very vocal in your community, who are on Twitter, on Telegram. If this was the case in reality with token holders, we would not have seen that much of exchange weighted top block producers. Like as you know that right now, so let me go and show you uh, what is really happening in terms of the actual vote. So I will use the Aloha portal. If you see the topmost exchanges have 311 million votes, while if you go back to usual community supported block producers like EOS New York, like EOS Authority, you have only 90 million votes. And even in this 90 million, these are the lucky block producers who have some votes from exchanges like Bitfinex. If you go down to some other, like, very popular block producers like Greymass, which has actually gone down at almost at the level of they will be out of this even the backup block producer list. So these, I think, technically in terms of the contribution, we know that Greymass, Aloha, some of these have very heavily contributed. So, and there is no confusion about it within the community. So this is what I think is not matching with what people are mentioning on Twitter or in any other polls. So I would say that another set of like 36% of people are saying that we should vote for quality BPs, but they should share some rewards. So now this is again, I personally believe that as soon as the block producers start giving rewards, there will be some uh, like there will be some issues in terms of quality, because right now we have quite a lot of like people who are like if you say the contributions from EOS Authority, New York, Grey Mass, they have been trying to invest back everything into the community, into the tools, into the technology, into progression of EOS. And right now, what we are seeing is it's not going to be the same if you start giving the reward. So anyway, I think this is has been discussed enough, and I think I'm glad to see at least people want to do this, while people who own the tokens are trying to get the maximum out of their current allocation. So that's common. I think let's see how that evolves. But what is interesting, what happened is Brendan Bloomer has come out and said that they would now consider voting. Actually, he has not really said that he will consider voting. What he has said is that they were not planning to vote until they became clear minority. And what he's saying is now, because they own 100 million tokens and the largest exchanges have like 300 plus million, now they are less than one third that is owned by them. That means even if they vote now for any block producer, they cannot decide who is going to be producing. So this is kind of reduces their influence, and this maybe is a good time for them to vote. Now, he never said in this statement that they will vote. All he's saying is they will not vote till they are clear minority, and he's just giving a statistics. So either way, I think what I mentioned is I agree that it's a good case now. Another reason why it's a good thing for them to vote is because, and this is what I tweeted, that case for V1 is even stronger now, because even if they vote all their votes to any of these VPs below 30, if you go down, let me go show you here. So if they vote for somebody like anybody from this below 30, which have sitting on less than 100 million tokens, the best case will be that the person like the block producer, which will get this vote, will become 197, and they will only get to 28 rank, which is nowhere close to 21. And you need another 50, 60 million tokens to get to the producing slot. So they have no capability now to even make an impact. But as this vote come in, if they actually vote 100 million tokens, the importance of that will be that once the other block producers who are currently giving rewards, all of them will have some reduction in their rewards, and their yields will come down, and ultimately it will shake up some of these this kind of cartels which are trying to currently benefit from this system, where they use either the exchange votes or they are using some kind of vote sharing mechanism. All right, so I have not seen any comments in last few minutes. I hope you are able to hear me all right, and if you are able to follow what we are discussing. So please keep your comments going so that we know, because as I told you, we were facing some technical issues, and I don't want to be speaking here while nobody is able to really follow what we are saying. All right, so coming back, what else is going on? As I said, this is some of the news which I think is very, very interesting. And the other thing I wanted to discuss is the Medium article about our did wanted to discuss that last time we did talk about what we are doing to scale the application. So I just wanted to spend some more time on it, because some people asked for the details. Some people wanted to understand what is like how EOS is progressing. And one of the important thing which we were talking about is how we are enabling these apps. And as part of our Block Start Accelerator, we have we have been working on many ideas. The one we can talk about, of course, is the moonlighting. Let me reload it. The pictures are not coming up. Yeah, so now I think it's you can see. So I think what I have highlighted here, and if you already read this, even though EOS was very promising in terms of free transactions, and but I think all of you know that there was a lot of concern about RAM cost. There was always concern about how much money you need to start the free transactions, and people forget the kind of impact Rex had. So Rex is actually very kind of enabling for the apps. And right now, when you're making, like, let's say you're making 100,000 transactions per day, it's impossible for any other blockchain to provide you this kind of efficiency that we are actually paying less than kind of a 1/100th of a penny. That means $0.0001 per action. And I would say this is definitely something very, very close to free. And when I say this is the cost for CPU, that means you don't have to stake anything. This is actually because Rex says you pay every month, you pay a small fee. So if you pay just one EOS, you are getting almost 4,500 EOS staked to your account, and you are not really staking anything else. So your cost here is really free. Your application can really, really run free. This is not something which is possible on any other blockchain. So a lot of people are talking about, oh, you need a huge stake, you need to have huge investment at the start of the when you're launching the app. That is no longer true. The second part was RAM. I think RAM again people are talking about, oh, there is a very heavy cost of RAM. Now DApp network, which I'm very excited about, this is the Liquid Apps VRAM solution. So right now when we look at the apps and especially like for example Moonlighting app, and we are seeing what we are able to achieve with them. So what we did, we use the Liquid Apps VRAM and we have got them to a very low cost. So what happens is, so let me show you what we are doing. So while the applications are looking for like leasing millions of tokens. So when we say million token, like if let's say if for using a certain package of DSP, they need to stake around 10 million tokens. Now we have started something called a lease service, and we are just like Rex, people can stake the tokens. So this is our growth of the tokens. So we have got very good response from the community. Right now we are seeing around 24.7 million tokens staked to us on this lease pack. And while these people are getting like this offering this their tokens, uh, they're also earning very good yield. So if you look at the lease rewards, people have earned anywhere like it's very good APR. So if you say annual percentage rates, this is the return you get on a daily basis. We are able to pay, and even with this, when we go back, we call it the pay as you go model. The DApp, the application is paying just $100 to $200 per month. If the same app had to go and buy these DApp tokens, just like EOS, even though the EOS had the promise of free transaction, until the Rex came out, there was no way for you to have a low cost of starting. Similarly, even though the Liquid Apps VRAM has a huge promise, originally when they had to stake, they were, because DApp is a token which is traded in the market, it is already priced to a certain dollar value. So they had to stake up to $30,000, and if they didn't know if they did not use VRAM, if they use the normal RAM, this app would not have been possible at all, because then you are talking about $2,000 per day. So from $2,000 per day to $30,000 for one-time cost for staking, that was the VRAM contribution. And what we did with Blockstart, we brought this $30,000 to a monthly fee, which is much easier to pay for a startup. So instead of one big investment, you need to make at $30,000. So this is what I wanted to highlight as how the innovation is happening, what we are trying to do to enable this. And this is why we wrote this article. So do spend some time understanding this. If you have any questions, let us know. Now, this is at net, if you see, we are talking about around like a $1 per day for the transactions you are paying for CPU, and you are paying like maybe $200 per month, or let's say worst case you're paying $300 per month for simplicity. You're talking about $10 per day. So it's just for $10 or $11 per day you can run an app which is doing so many transactions, which is not possible on any other blockchain. So this is something which I wanted to talk about, I think, and explain you in little more details. And I hope that this is understood by people, and like how the EOS ecosystem, along with the layer 2 solutions like Liquid Apps, like the innovation around the economics of staking, which we are able to enable. So there are a lot of things happening in this domain which nobody is capturing. I don't think anybody is really highlighting these things, while we have all the FUD around how the governance is a problem. Now, I keep repeating, governance is one thing. It is definitely something which is unique, but as I always say that there is no governance in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of the best, greatest blockchain ever, and the most valuable, as you can see from the coin market cap. What I'm trying to highlight is that as a Bitcoin owner, you have no say. The miners are deciding. Even when the fork happened, miners decided which Bitcoin they support, and that led to the valuation of Bitcoin. So it's all about, we wanted a good governance, we wanted some great progress in EOS, and we still believe that EOS will be much better off if we have better governance. But irrespective of that, the technology is moving, and we are seeing some great progress here. So um, I will open it up for questions. I think there are a lot of other things I can talk about. One thing which I wanted to highlight is we have not done a lot of videos, so I don't know if you are aware of what else is going on. We do have some new tokens. I think there's a lot of progress happening on the sister chains. We are seeing Telos making some great progress. I heard about Verbally launching with some new apps. Beyond that, we had SOV. So that is for all the Genesis account holders if you were originally on the Genesis account. So let me actually see if I can quickly search the SOV page. So EOS SOV was a new coin which was announced, and this is actually, they are trying to burn it, and they have actually, what they have done is that they will reduce the supply to 21 million, just like Bitcoin, as more and more transfers happen. So this is the store of value coin for on the EOS blockchain. It's a very interesting concept. So all of you who have Genesis account, you can use those keys to claim SOV tokens, and this is, everybody gets 5,000 SOV tokens, and as you transfer these tokens every time, they burn certain amount of tokens and so on. So that's a very interesting concept. Let's go to their site, and you can go to their website eossov.one, and you can air grab. Just be careful, don't go to any other random site, only go to the official site and log in, and you can actually go and claim it. And how it works as a burn, I think what anybody can burn it. Like there is a various levels. I don't know where is the link here for the white paper, but basic idea is that as more and more people use it and more people transfer it, the tokens will be burned. So now I see I think my comments are not loading. I'm seeing quite a few comments and questions. Let me see if I can get that going. So I don't see any other questions. I think quite a few people are still concerned about the quality of audio. Definitely, we apologize for that. As I said, we have installed some new equipment on this encoders, and that is causing us some issues. We'll try to fix it next time and do some more testing. It doesn't seem that the market understands how cheap it is to use EOS. Yes, I think this is very important message, which I think all of us should carry forward, that developing on EOS is cheap. And it's not just about being cheap, it's about what you can achieve, like in terms of number of transactions per second, in terms of how much data you can store on the chain now with VRAM. There are a lot of innovations, and free transactions are just amazing. Like when we talk about Rex, even though I'm trying to project a cost of $0.0001 per transaction, that is the worst case scenario, because of course the price can go up. Sometimes there was a CPU attack last week when somebody was trying to target an exchange, a casino game, that can lead to some issues. But I would say that these kind of things will keep happening, but that is only momentary. But most of the apps today which are running on EOS, they are enjoying very good throughput and instantaneous transaction, which is very important for user experience and for many of the other things. So, okay, anyway, come back to our discussion. So I've gone through the comments. If you have any other questions, I think we wanted to keep it interactive because we have not done a live stream for a very long time. So please feel free to ask any other questions you have around the EOS ecosystem, and we can take them now. But as I said, we wanted to cover about SOV, which is a promising project. I wanted to talk about some of the new listings. We have seen that the BET token has listed, which is one of the earliest token on the casino side, which is much more promising, which was never listed, which was never sold. It was only possible to earn the token with playing the game. Again, as I said, I never promote casino games, but I think they were a very good team. So I just wanted to mention that now that is available on New Decks. Um, and there are many things happening. We learn about Chintai. So actually, let me talk about Chintai and let me go to that. So if you go to the Chintai, we do know that there is kind of very good stuff they are doing. Like they are talking about token leasing. They even launched a program under how to issue new tokens. And I think that is something which is going to be very interesting how that evolves. So originally Chintai was all about EOS leasing. With Rex, I think that became irrelevant, but now they're talking about any other token leasing. So that is going to be very interesting, especially around NFTs, especially around the new token issuance. So that is something which, again, is great progress. And they are also talking about using liquid apps. They're also talking about using the DApp network. And the DApp network is, as I say, we are very heavily invested. So a disclaimer, this is not an investment advice. And any of the things I say, you don't consider that we are recommending any of these things. Even if you, like from SOV, we are talking about claiming this token. We are not recommending you to go and buy this token. There is always a risk with any new project, so none of this is investment advice. So let me clarify once again. Same for Chintai about checks token, same for liquid apps. We are, and surely we are ourselves invested in it because we are running a DSP node as Blockstart initiative. So I'm just trying to make sure that you're not taking this as a promotion for any token. Uh, Now, coming back to overall what's going on, I would say that Block 1 is definitely critical to all the plans in terms of voting. The voice is critical. We have only 4 days left for the 1.8 migration, which is a big upgrade on EOS. We are talking about it's a hard fork, so a lot of BPs are already ready, and we are going to see that migration happen. Hopefully, it will go smooth without any big issues have around it. So that is something which I would say is again going to be exciting. If a lot of people believe that voice should launch after 1.8, again, Block 1 has not confirmed whether they are ready, even if the 1.8 migration is successful. And that is something I think we all have to wait for. And most importantly, what is happening on the market itself, I would say, is undecided right now on where it is heading. Like as I said, we are very stable on $10,000 on Bitcoin, and EOS has kind of recovered initially, but not no longer leading. I think now Ethereum is leading. So overall, I don't know how this market will settle down because we are still like in the recent up move. We were at $8 or above during the June event. We are still 50% below that. So I can understand all the people what they are going through, and but what I'm trying to highlight is by asking for 3 or 4% reward. So let me actually one more point which people keep forgetting. Let me show you what is there is another thing called Celsius network. I don't know if you have heard about it. If you are really interested in interest, when the people who are actually um, looking for EOS to earn this 3 or 4% rewards, they can actually look for this Celsius network where you can actually lend your tokens, and it's a very popular app, and you can earn 10 to 12% returns on this. So I don't know where they list the actual rates. I get some of the content here on my emails where they are explaining what is the current interest rate. Yeah, these are some of the interest rates. I think the if you earn in stable coins, some of these stable coins, like this is US dollars, so they are actually giving 9 to 12% of interest on these kind of stable coins. And you are seeing even on the Bitcoin and so on, they are giving 4 to 5% returns by depositing into this scheme. So there are a lot of other opportunities for people who want to just earn this 4% or 3% returns instead of selling their votes. What is happening? So this is what really beats me. Why people would not vote for quality block producers and make overall EOS price go up? That is something I still don't understand. So I think, as I keep saying, things will keep changing. We are talking about B1 voting. we are talking about new exchanges voting. As this number of tokens which are voting keep going up, the bar for this cartels to go and control the top producer positions will become more and more difficult. And we definitely should see more progress in this domain as things change. So that is all actually I had. I don't see any more questions, so this is the last chance. I would say if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask those right now. What I will do is we will try to fix our audio issues next time. We already had struggled with our video stream today. We tried to start it a couple of times earlier in the day, but it didn't work out. So if you don't have any other questions, we will come back soon. I'm trying to get back into finding some time, allocating some time for doing this live stream so that we can have this community again contributing, talking about the exciting things which are happening. As I keep reminding that there's a lot more exciting things that are happening on the dApp side, on the actual applications that are developing on EOS, than if you just read those FUD stories about the voting and governance. And what I don't understand is that why they do not write about lack of governance on any other chain, because nobody else is even trying. EOS is at least made a big effort on governance, and as we learned through this process that it's difficult, and ultimately everybody cares for is just short-term profits. So I think that's the reality of the world, but that has been the case for everything, including Bitcoin, Ethereum. We have seen all the messy politics in Bitcoin world with the Bitcoin forks, with all the infighting within the groups. We call it Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash. That doesn't reduce any uh, valuation on Bitcoin. Nobody says that Bitcoin is a failure because of all those problems in governance. What the reason is that currently the media, the CoinDesk of the world, the Cointelegraph, the standard crypto media to read every day, they are mostly owned by the people who have vested interest in Bitcoin or Ethereum, and they want to keep everything, all the other new technologies, um, in kind of out of their domain. They are controlling the whole narrative about what's going on. So I would say that media and the news is definitely very biased. That definitely shows up in day-to-day news. It doesn't matter though, because when we talk to real businesses, when we are taking them to EOS, when we show them the capabilities, when we show them that what is really possible with the like on public blockchain with EOS in terms of launching applications with that many transactions at a very low cost, I think that will ultimately come out. Maybe not now, maybe in 2 years, 5 years, and we need more and more applications and developers to support this. I don't think we need to worry about governance, and that's why I say that while all of us want to improve it, I don't want to go and discuss it day in day out, and also focus on what's going on. Uh, Another reason for why governance is becoming very critical is because people are most of the people who are leading the EOS discussion are not even developing. They're only either voting or they are block producers themselves, and many of them are not even doing anything other than just running a node or just trying to set the governance process and so on. So that's why we get involved in too many of those discussions, and I would like to avoid that. So we have a few couple of questions. Let me quickly take them. So are you referring to the new CoinDesk article? Yes, Danny. I'm referring to the latest article, which is talking about how they are. If you see it, there is a very much an agenda there, because they are even digging 1 year old stories about EOS of what happened at launch, all the problems, and those kind of things they are highlighting right now. So it's a very like I think motivational article for Ethereum people, that now that EOS 2.0 is Ethereum 2.0 is coming, it will scale to next level and just ignore EOS. That's their objective there. And I'm sure that they are all paid by Ethereum people to write bad about any other chain. Secondly, I think I see a question about EOS prospectus game. I do hear a lot of good things about it. Personally, I don't have time to even try it out. I did try to log in, see it has pretty decent graphics, and I know about these strategy games. As a kid, I used to play a lot of these, so I'm very excited about those kind of real games on EOS rather than casinos. So definitely, it's a pretty good initiative, and I do hear from people who are playing it that they're very happy. And also, I think they are now becoming a cross-chain game. As I last heard, they are moving to VAX. By the way, the VAX tokens were converted into EOS-IO. So if you were the VAX token holder, I hope everybody converted their tokens, and those are now available to. You can vote for the block producers there and so on. They call it guilds, VAX guilds, and that you can vote for. But overall, I think I see a lot more EOS IO usage, and EOS mainnet, as we all know, is still one of the most valuable public chain in terms of the availability of EOS token, availability of how far it is listed and how many people are working on it. So I did still think that technology-wise, there is no question. More and more EOS IO chains are coming, more and more apps are coming, uh, and for the uh, mainnet itself, I think it will always remain important as we see that the value grow, and it's already gone enough acceptance across various different exchanges, which are the biggest in the world for crypto. And whether you like it or not, those exchanges still control the adoption because that's how you can get into the crypto. And that has been the case for mostly, like even for Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything. Usually, exchanges control what is successful. So if you're trying to fight against exchanges, that's not going to help any chain, because then you will not be able to even reach out to people who can buy that token. So that will always be a struggle, and I hope the as things become more and more universal, I think that will be a good time to take a shot at improving governance. So anyway, so that's all from here. I think I will call it quits now for today. I think thanks a lot for joining with all the challenges we had today with the audio and video. We will try to keep coming back again and do more live streams. And it's always good to interact with the investing with the different community. And we are very happy the way things are progressing, I would say. And do tell us, send us feedback, join our Telegram and our Twitter, where we have more active and live discussions on a day-to-day basis. Thank you. Bye for now, and have a good evening or wherever you are. Have a rest of your day. Bye bye.